In this episode of Sailing Gemma, we tear apart the mast of our 47-year-old $1 boat in the hope to restore it to its former glory. Sydney gets the mast sanded down and Ian gets a fresh layer of paint on the mast. Make sure to like and subscribe to follow our adventures.
Been working on Gemma for a little bit right now. I'm just getting started on her mast. I just pulled off the furler and the back stays. And now I'm gonna get the side stays pulled off and the side stays down there pulled off. So yeah, it's coming together pretty quickly. Then we have to sand it all. I just took the bolts out of this. I'm just taking it off. Sanding one side of the mast. It looks pretty good. How do you feel about it so far, Sydney? You're halfway there on the main mast.
I am. It didn't take too long. It was not that bad.
Yeah, you're probably only at it for about an hour of like actual sanding.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It went by really quickly.
Now we just gotta flip it over and sand the other side. I'm almost done taking apart the boom. There's a couple of things I gotta do on that. And then we'll be ready for primer tomorrow morning.
Well, not me. I'm gonna be working.
Yep, Sydney's working on Sunday like a bum. I'm gonna work on the sailboat because that's way cooler.
Ian's taking off these 3. What are these?
These are for our main sheet.
So this is the boom, and this is the mast that I've been sanding. I'll get to do this one soon.
It's next. It is day 2 on the masts. They are mostly sanded and almost ready for primer, and the goal is to have them painted today and ready to go back together. So that'll be pretty sweet. It's just me today. Sydney's at work on a weekend. Sounds like so much fun. Definitely not. So I'm gonna get these primed. I have to finish a little bit down here. There's just some paint that we need to sand off. We're just gonna tape around all the cleats and stuff because they're like frozen in place. So this is the boom. It's mostly all apart. I just have to get a couple of these off, these little things. And I have to do the same thing with the mast, and then I can sand this little area. Just a couple of small things, then we should be taping and getting ready to prime. I've got my paint over here. I got the reducer and the hardener, and this is a quart of white car paint. Should be pretty good. That's what it is. It's just regular white car paint, so like you'd use on a car. I think it'll work perfect for this. Everything all prepped. The mast is hung from the ceiling, and I have these boards shoved in the end of the boom, and I'm just getting ready to prime everything. Alright, so this is all of our paint stuff. This is our primer and our hardener from our reducer for our primer. And this is our hardener and our paint and our reducer for our paint. This is just xylene. This is just for cleaning everything, paint thinner. We have all the mast. We have the mast and the boom hung up and cleaned with Prep-All, just in a little squirt bottle with some rags. So we are ready for the first coat of primer, and then we're gonna put on 2 coats of white paint. So should go pretty good, hopefully. Shouldn't take too long. We're going to do 45 minutes in between the paint and the primer coat, and then we're going to do 10 minutes in between each coat of white paint. So, and if you aren't yet, make sure you like and subscribe so you can see more of our boat videos. Alright, here is an after shot of the mast. All painted up. Looking freaking spiffy. This is the most satisfying part of the job. After all that sanding that Sydney did, it looks freaking fan-damn-tastic. So, I only had enough paint. I calculated for paint incorrectly. I only had enough paint to do 2 coats on the mast. So, I need to do another coat, or I need to do 2 coats on this. This is still just primer. So, that's gonna have to be for another day. I'm gonna have to order up some more paint. So, just setting the paint station back up again. We are priming, or not priming, but we're painting the mast white. I just got it all prep-soled. It is ready to be painted. I'm just getting ready to mix my paint. I got my gun right here. I have my cups. I got all my paint stuff, my 3-part paint, and my gloves. And we're about to make this thing white. It's gonna be awesome. The mask came out so good. Car paint is awesome and easy to spray. Gonna get 2 coats of this on with a 10-minute tack period in between. Should be pretty good. So we are moving on to our paint mixing part, and this is our paint, and these are our mixing instructions. We are 1 to 2, so we are 8 parts color, 1 part hardener, 2 parts reducer. So if you've never used a paint cup before, this is a paint cup. It has a whole bunch of different columns for mixing. They're all really handy. If you're reducing by a percentage, you can do your math and do it with the milliliters. Or here is our 1 to 2. So what you do is you work from your left to your right. So you go with the 8, and let's say I want to mix up a small batch, or today I'm mixing up a medium-sized batch. So I'm gonna mix the 3, right? So I take my paint, I fill it up to 3. I take my hardener. Once the paint will be up to there, then I just do a little bit more with the hardener, and then this is my reducer. So I fill from this line to this line for my reducer, and the paint will be filled right up to there. I'll show you guys as I do it. Alright, so here's our mixing cup. I'm just gonna put it right here so it's kind of, hopefully you guys can get an understanding. So what I'm gonna do is this is our mixing ratio that we're using right here. I'm gonna fill it up to 3. Color, this will be our paint this side, this will be our hardener, and this will be our reducer. So take the paint, that's up to our first 3, and we're going to take our hardener. So the boom's paint job came out pretty good, except I have to fix a couple of areas because I didn't quite clean it good enough, and I have a couple of fisheyes. See that right there? And there's a little bit right there and around that cleat and a spot right there. So I'm gonna sand it down with this is 600 grit sandpaper, and gonna get a little. Then I'm gonna spritz another coat of this paint on, and it should fix that. Normally, like on the mast, I got one spot like this, but it was all the way up at the top, so I was like, I'm not taking the time to deal with that. But I know that these fish eyes would drive me nuts because they're right at eye level, and I'm gonna see that every day. So, drive me nuts. So I'm gonna fix that little imperfection. And I got one run down here somewhere. It's hard to see. And if you guys aren't subscribed yet and you want to see more of our boat projects, and pretty soon we're going to be cruising, so if you want to see boat projects and cruising, make sure to like and subscribe to see more of Sailing Gemma's episodes. We work really hard.